know who I am. My dad is Abraham. You know, the Abraham. And I'm his son, the only one, Isaac. I would bet all of you here this morning that of everybody in the whole Old Covenant, my father is probably the best known. There's been so many things written about my dad, and over the last several thousand years, I have managed to read every single word that's been written about him. And if you ask me to sum up my dad in one sentence, I'd have to pick the verse that's written in the New Covenant about him. The one where Paul writes this: "And Abraham is the father of all those who walk in the footsteps of the faith of our father Abraham." That's what he's called, our father Abraham. And he certainly deserves a title like that. But let me ask you a question. If people call my dad the father of the faith, wouldn't you think it's only fair that they would call me the son of the faith? I mean, after all, it was me who was on the cutting edge of the faith, under the knife, so to speak. Why are people always talking about my dad? Why don't you ever hear people talking about me? You know, from the very before the beginning of my life, God was involved with me. One day, he himself came to my soon-to-be parents' tent, told them they were going to have a son. What do you think my parents said when they heard that news? "Oh, toda rabah, thank you very much." No. They laughed, the both of them, which is how I got my name. Isaac, Yitzchak. He laughs. How would you like to go through life with a name like He Laughs? He laughs. Dinner time. He laughs. I told you, don't play so far from that tent. Come in just a little bit. Every time one of my parents called me, the whole neighborhood was reminded about their little lapse of faith. And in our house, faith was an important word. It was more than a word. It was the beginning of the story of my family. You see, one day Dad was living up in Haran when God came and spoke to him. Told him that he wanted Dad to go to this land, a new land. A land that Dad did not even know. And by faith, Dad gets up and goes. Now when he got there, God spoke to him a second time. Told him that he was going to have more children than there were stars in the sky and sand on the seashore. Now at the time, Dad had only one son, Ishmael, who was not even the son of his wife. But because Dad believed God would do what he said, his name was changed. He used to be called Abram, the exalted father. But when he came to believe God would give him all these children, his name was changed to Abraham, the father of a multitude. And all of this happened by faith. Now it was exactly 1 year after that promise was made by God that I was born. And from the second I made my entrance, I was the favorite child, especially of my mother. Now, there are some Bible teachers today that will try to convince you that I was spoiled as a kid. That is absolutely untrue. Not going to tell you that being called the miracle kid didn't have any effect on me. You know, both my parents were way too old to have children, and whenever anybody saw me, they always said the same thing. "Hey, miracle kid, how are you?" But it's not my special birth that sticks in the minds of most people. You know what people think about when they hear my name? They think about the time my father almost sacrificed me. That's what they remember. I know, probably a lot of you here think that that's a very controversial thing to do. You're probably even shocked to hear about it. Well, you should have been there the first day that my mom heard about it. You see, Probably the best way to begin telling you the whole story would be the way that Moses himself chose. And Moses wrote this: Vahi achar hadvarim ha'ilah v'Elohim nisa et Avraham. And it came to pass after these things that God tested Abraham. You like that verse? God tested Abraham. Doesn't say anything about me getting tested. It's Abraham who gets tested. God told him that he was to take me and bring me to this place called Moriah. Now, the first time I heard that word, it sounded strange to me. But since then, this has become a well-known place to everyone who studies the Scriptures. First, and very important to me, is just the fact that I myself went to that mountain. I think it makes it really unique. You're not as impressed with me as I am, huh? All right, how about this? The writer of Chronicles wrote, and Solomon began to build the temple of God in Jerusalem on Mount Moriah, where the Lord had appeared to his father David. Two special events that happened on this mountain. And there's even more. That should go a little later in the story, I think. So we'll save that. Going to this mountain, that was one thing. What my father planned to do when we got there, it was a whole different story. God told him that he was to take me and offer me as a sacrifice on the top of that mountain. Now, I don't know exactly where I was when God and my father were working out the little details of this plan. But if I had any idea what it was, I don't think I would have wanted to go. Who knew? Moses continues by writing this. And early the next morning, Abraham got up. You think he would mention that I got up? Now, I am not a morning person. And for me to get up early, it is a very big sacrifice, and you would think that I would get half a verse. Nothing. Abraham gets up. He comes into the tent where I'm sleeping. Isaac, get up. We're going on a little trip. Trip? What kind of trip, Dad? What time is it anyway? It's still dark outside. Shh! Don't wake up your mother. What's the big secret, Dad? You come in the middle of the night, we're rushing off somewhere, I don't even know where we're going. You didn't even... Shh! Hurry up. Dad, would you mind if I grabbed a bagel or something before we left? I get up, get dressed, come out of the tent, and there's my father all ready to go on his trip. Two of his servants are with him, a donkey that is fully loaded with supplies, and Dad gets this little caravan together, and off we go to Mount Moriah. Almost. Because it was at that time that my mom did wake up. And one of the things my mother is known for, especially in the middle of the night, is being a very fast talker. And when she got up and saw my father, she said to him, Abi, that's what she called him, Abi. Abi, where do you think you're going? You're not kidding me with the 44 kids. It's a good thing I woke up back, so I don't have any idea that you're going. This is packing and taking away. You understand what I'm saying to you? Dad decides to say nothing. And then Mom saw me. And what is the point? There's a trip still. I don't think he's old enough to be out of my son anyway. He doesn't have a jacket, doesn't have food, doesn't have anything. If I wake up, do you understand what I'm saying to you? Dad still says nothing. Now, it wasn't often that my parents would have a disagreement. You know, I mean a big disagreement. But I could tell that this exchange had the potential to become a big one.